So we are going to talk about direct mail marketing. So you've probably had some experience on it. So this is going to be kind of a refresher course.
Okay.
And at the end, I'm actually going to teach you a way to build a farm in Realist.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yeah. I've just done farming with lists from title companies. I don't have. Yeah, I have
a little bit different, but I think you'll like
it.
More.
Okay, good.
Okay, so to do any type of marketing, obviously you are going to want to build a farm. So a farm is a location that you will send mail advertising to on a regular basis.
Okay.
When you're choosing a farm, you'll want to consider the location of your farm, the median income of the area of the farm,
okay,
the percentage of homeowners in the area, and the average number of years the property has been owned for in the area.
Okay.
For example, you might not want to farm an area if it's a brand new subdivision and people have only lived there for 6 months.
Right.
It might not be a good farm for you.
Right.
And then as you're aware, so you can obtain mailing lists from the title reps. Pretty much every title company can give you some type of mailing list. Their fees will vary company to company.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use every door direct mail through the USPS, which we're going to go over in the next few slides.
Okay.
And then you can also build farming lists through the MLS, which I will show you as well.
Okay.
So we're going to start with every door direct mail.
And that's post office?
Door direct mail is part of the USPS Postal Service. This is located on their website. And then I'm just going to kind of show you the step-by-steps, but after the class, I will upload the step-by-step instructions for you.
Okay, so it's on our Champions website?
It will be. Not yet, but it will be.
Okay. Okay.
So every door direct mail gives you access to the U.S. Postal Service's database for addresses and owners.
Okay.
So this is the most up-to-date information that the USPS has. Now, if someone hasn't told the USPS they've moved, then the information won't show that until they have informed the Postal Service that they've moved.
Okay.
So you'll just go to their website and you'll click under business and you'll see right here every door direct mail. And this is how we'll get started.
Okay.
Now, once you click on every door direct mail, you'll see right here the EDM tools.
Okay.
EDM, so every door direct mail. And this is how you will start your search for addresses from the U.S. Postal Service.
Okay, let me write that down.
No worries.
Using every direct mail. Okay.
Well, let's say you want to build a farm for the city of Linwood and you want to target the zip code 98036.
Okay.
So once you click on the Get Started button, you'll type in the zip code that you want to work in, and you'll see a screen that'll come up like this.
Yes.
As you can see in the purple, this is your 98036 area code and everyone that is located in that area code.
Okay.
You'll see that there is one postal route that serves that entire area code. And there's approximately 567 different addresses in that zip code. And if you were to target all of them, it would cost you $109 for shipping from the Postal Service, which is really not bad for.
I was going to say 657. Can you put in, as an example, can you put in 98020? Or
Yes,
is this already printed up?
This is already printed on here, but yes.
Okay.
And
So I could put in.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So once you click.
I'm just curious how many people would be in 98120?
I understand. I've played around with it. I get it.
Yeah.
So you'll hit next step once you've selected the zip code you'd like to use. And then at that point, you'll see this information right here at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, refine search.
Yep. So right here, this is, whoa. Sorry. Right here is the exact route number for that area.
Oh.
Here is how many residential properties are in the area. Remember I said there was about 556 addresses?
Right.
So it was able to determine that out of those, 514 are actual residences.
Okay.
68.3% of those people are between the ages of 25 and 85.
Okay.
There's an average 2.74 people per household.
Hmm.
And your median income is $108,000 a year.
Wow.
And to mail this, it's going to be $98.69 to target all 514.
And that's assuming you're using a 40-cent stamp.
That is assuming that you're doing this through their tool. You do all of it through them. You're not actually going to physically go to the post office to get this is just to get your addresses.
Okay.
Now you will still have to mail them, but to get, so this is some really good information for not a lot of money. You know, if you
That
go
is.
this route, then we have a
But
decent.
you could print postcards and then send them all to all those.
And then once you determine your area, make sure you write down your route number. So if you ever want to go back and use it again, you have it.
Okay.
And then you'll click next step to process your order, and everything will go through the post office at that point. And then you'll need to deliver your mail to the post office to be delivered.
Okay, so next step to process your order, deliver your mail. So if it's postcards, you take it to the post office.
Ma'am?
And they're going to post it for me.
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
they'll figure out how much and,
Yep.
okay.
At least that's what they should do.
So they must use some kind of a bulk mailing thing.
I'm not 100% sure because I don't work for them, but if you're looking to do direct mail advertising, this is a really good.
Okay, so I would get my postcards, take them to the post office and just tell them that I've done this, and they would have some kind of number because it would be in their direct mail system thing.
So once you go through and process everything, you'll get all that information.
Okay.
And then of course, if you want to do for any type of direct mail marketing,
Mhm.
you can do bulk printing from the MLS. If you're doing printing that's pretty small, obviously you could do it in an office or Office Depot or places like that. But if you're doing a mass farm and direct mail marketing campaign, I recommend using the Northwest MLS. Right now, because of COVID, they're on a limited schedule. So you'll want to call in advance or email in advance to find out information on that.
Yeah, to see what it looks like, because what I would be doing would probably be like a glossy postcard or something, and I don't know that MLS does that. They're not a printing company. So
they're not a printing company, but they have a lot of printing options.
Do they?
Yep. So I would definitely, when you have time, I'd go into the MLS website and look at all the printing options they have, because they actually have different types of paper and materials and brochures.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Everything.
What's it under on there? Do you know?
It's under support. Where underneath that, I do not know, honestly.
Okay, I could call them. Okay, great.
Okay, so farming with realists. Like I said, I'm going to teach you how to do this right now. I'm just going to give you a quick overview, and then I'll actually share my screen and we'll do this step by step.
Okay.
So most people don't realize that you can build a farm through Realist.
I didn't know that.
It might be one of the hidden gems out there, because Realist has all the updated tax records and tax information, and they can tell you a lot more information. Now, you can, like I said, get lists from the USPS or from title reps. But if you're looking to, let's say, do a farm with people who specifically sold their homes between 2008 and 2010,
right,
this is your public records right here.
Okay.
So you're going to build your own search in order to do this. For this example, like I said, I'll walk you through step by step at the end. But for this example, we are going to target someone that is owner occupied, someone that recorded at a specific date before or after, someone who has a cell score. Cell score is the most likely they'll purchase or the most likely they will sell the property. And we're going to target by a specific subdivision. So for this example, we're going to build a farm that's really close and only a few neighborhoods. And that's going to be the area we're going to work in.
How did you get to this screen?
Like I said,
I've never seen this screen.
I'll show you step by step.
Okay.
So for this example, we built a farm with a sell score greater than 450. They're very likely to sell. They're owner occupied, so we're not targeting places that have tenants. We're targeting a subdivision called Country Manor, and we're targeting people who sold or bought their home prior to 2015. And based off that information, we found 17 very specific properties that meet those very specific criteria. Now, you can use any criteria you want, and I'll show you when we get there. But for this situation, I'm trying to find someone who's likely to sell. It's their own place. They've had it for at least 6 years. They built equity. And they're in this small neighborhood because I want to become that expert of that neighborhood.
Okay.
Live in that neighborhood. You're going to know that I'm your real estate broker.
Okay.
So now we have our property. Now we got to get our mail outs.
Mm-hmm.
So most typical mail outs you're going to see are brochures, postcards, and envelopes. So types of mail outs. So postcards and brochures are typically the most successful type of mail out. The potential client does not need to open an envelope to see your marketing. So if someone doesn't have to open the mail, they're most likely to see what it is because we're kind of a lazy species and we don't want to take any extra steps, especially if we think it might be junk mail.
Right.
If you choose to do a mail out that is inside of an envelope, it is highly suggested that you hand write the addresses.
Okay.
Someone is more likely to open that piece of mail if they think it's from someone they know or someone they've worked with. It's not just a mass junk mail campaign. And then another thing you can actually do is you can actually stamp your envelopes. Now you can't cover, the address, you can't cover the postage stamp, but you can stamp something that says important information enclosed or information about your property or whatever you would like. This is just going to increase your chance than opening it because they're more likely to think it's not junk mail at that point. So mail out content. You want to make sure you have good content for your direct mail campaigns. You don't want to solely do real estate stuff because you want them to know you. And if you only send mail to them every few months, only about real estate, they're not really going to remember your name. So market data is a good one. Holidays are really good. The start of sports seasons is a good time for a good type of mail out. And then obviously just listed and just sold in the area is really good. Property value, so somewhere where they can maybe scan a QR code to find out what their property is worth. Home buying tips and home seller tips. And then local community events. Especially if you're targeting a very specific neighborhood. Community events is a really good thing to really connect with the neighborhood because you can talk about things that are happening locally where they are. If you're targeting someone in Linwood, they might not care about the Seattle Art Walk. They might not.
Yeah.
But if you can tell them about, when the high school dance is, when a graduation is for their specific high school, that's more information for them that actually pertains to their life. So some best practices, like I said, hand address any mail outs you have. Obviously, the more mail you do, the more handwriting you have to do, but you're more likely to get a result by doing it. And then make sure you plan your campaign before you mail it. You want to know who you're targeting and why you're targeting before you spend the time and energy and money getting those lists together. If you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to be as successful as if you come into it with a plan. Include a call to action, so some type of something of value to them, whether it's, like I said, scan a QR code to find out how much my property is worth, just some type of information that makes them do something. that benefits them. And then the more specific and targeted your farm is, the better your results are going to be. Some people work in Linwood. Some people work in Bothell. Some people work in King County, Snohomish County, Pierce County, Island County, Thurston County, and Skagit County. Well, that's great. And that's totally fine. But if you're going to mail to that many counties, it's not going to be very specific. It's not going to be very targeted, and it's going to cost a lot of money.
How do you get the QR card that tells them the value of their home, the QR information?
A bunch of different companies that do that. I can't think of the name off the top of my head of the one that we use, but I believe it's CoreFact. It's CoreFact.
How do you spell that?
I think it's CoreFact, but I will get back to you. I'll send you an email. I just want to make sure that's actually the company I think it is. But it's actually really neat. It's a little like postcard. You can design it however you want. And then they just scan the QR code with their phone. And then you get their contact information from that. And then you call to set up a CMA appointment. Potentially list the home. Or at least tell them what the value is. And later on down the road, you'll be the one listing their home.
So each house will have its own QR code.
Yes. And then
where they get their values? Home values.
So every company gets it from a different place. I can't speak specifically where everyone gets them from, but it's kind of similar to that of Realist when you search a home and it says the estimated value of the home is anywhere between X dollars to X dollars.
Right.
And then it says, for more specific information, contact a real estate agent.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's pretty much like that.
Yeah.
And the last thing about direct mail marketing is be consistent. If you're sending mail once a month, the first week of the month, every single month, you're more likely to get something than if you randomly just send out a piece of mail. The point is you want them to know that you're the person that represents their neighborhood, their community, and if they need anything, they call Roxanne.
Okay.
Okay. Now, to teach you how to farm with Realist, give me 1 sec. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to switch over and I will show you how we do that. Okay. Do you see Matrix now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Oh, looks like we got Desiree joined us. Hi, Desiree.
The picture's there, but yeah. But she's muted.
Sorry.
There she
Yes,
goes.
I was on mute. Hi.
Hi, you joined just in time to learn how to build a farm with Realist.
Great. Thank you.
So this is going to be good. So if you ladies need me to stop at any point, just tell me. This is going to be pretty fun. So before we build this farm, we're going to do the exact same thing we did in the slideshow. So we're going to target someone with a cell score of 450. We're going to target someone living in the Country Manor subdivision. We're going to target someone that purchased their home prior to 2017 or 2015, excuse me. And we're going to target specifically owner occupied. So very first step is we got to launch Realist.
So you went to Realist, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So very first step, if you have multiple counties selected, it will not let you build the list, build your safe search. So make sure you only have one county selected.
Okay.
Specifically the county that you are working in.
Okay.
So for this example, we're working in Snohomish County.
Okay.
Next, we're going to click My Search. And then it will pop up a list of saved searches if you have them. In this case, we do not. So we're going to click Create a New Search. Next step is you're going to want to name your search. So for this case, I'm just going to name it Test. If you were building a farm specifically for Linwood, I would name it Linwood Farm. If you were trying to target specifically Buffalo Everett Highway, I'd name it Buffalo Everett Highway Farm. Whatever is the best naming mechanism for you to know that this is that farming list that you're looking for. Now, once you've named your search, you can see that we have a lot of different options of things we can look at. So we can click, does it have a pool? That's one example. We can check lock acres. We can get your mailing zip code. We can check who was your listing agent. All of the information the matrix already has are different options we can look at in here.
Okay.
We can select up to 30 of these. So if you want to make a very, very, very specific farm, you can have up to 30 different attributes to determine that farm. But like I said, for this one, we're only going to target those 4. Because
Sure.
the more specific you
Awesome.
get, yes, the more targeted you get, but the less likelihood that you'll find a property because it's so specific at that point.
And so I'm sorry, the 4 that you're going to select are,
We're going to do cell score. We're going to do owner occupied. We're going to do recording date. And we are going to do subdivision. So I'm just going to go through. I'm going to select those right now. You'll notice there are tabs over here if you want to go into the tabs, but all categories has all. So I'm just going to search in all categories. So there's owner occupied.
recording date, would that be?
And subdivision. So we have all 4.
Yeah, would sales price be good?
That's up to you, right? It's
Okay.
in the farm based on what you want to work with and the people you want to
Okay.
work with.
Okay,
But for this example, we're not going to do sell.
okay.
So now we're just hit apply. And now you'll be brought back to the realist dashboard screen. And now we need to fill in the information for the list. So cell score, we can choose is between, is, or is greater than. In this case, I want to target a cell score higher than 450 because those are the people that Matrix has determined are likely to very likely to sell.
Okay.
So cell score is greater than 450. Next, we'll do owner occupied. And again, we're targeting ones that are, so we just click yes. Recording date. So for this, you could do is between, is greater than, or is less than. In this case, we want to do anything prior to 2015. So we're going to do, I'm having a brain fart. We're gonna do is less than. Sorry. 0, 1. And then subdivision. And we're just going to type it in. Just do the first one. And you can see we have 17 matches
Where?
right here.
My screen must be, oh, okay. It's my
Now
screen.
I hit search. And now here's the really great thing about the fact that we targeted just a specific subdivision. You can see that all 17 of these are located within just a couple block radius. So if this was the area that you were working in, it's really easy to be targeted because you know that all of these people live in all of this area. They're not scattered all around. And you can make it specific to them. Now, once you have the 17, at that point, if you would like, you can scroll through. Come on. You can scroll through the different addresses, get the different tax information, look at your owner's names like you would always do.
Mhm.
One of the really nice things at this point is we have the option down here to export. So we can either export the list to Excel if we'd like. We can print the list. We can email the list, or we can go ahead and print our mailing labels for it.
Wow.
Just with one click of a button.
They can email, it has their email addresses?
So it won't email them, it will email a list to you.
Oh, I see. Okay, it'll email the list. Okay.
But for instance, if you click on labels, you can see we have different label types here.
Wow.
You can see that we can do mixed case, so uppercase, lowercase. We can do all capital letters.
Okay.
We can send it by tax address or property address. In this case, we know they're owner occupied, so we would just
Okay.
property address. But if they weren't owner occupied, now we can send it to their tax billing address. And then you're allowed 5,000 exports a month from Realist.
Okay.
And we're only using 17, but this 17 is a very specific list. And we know that they're most likely going to sell. We know they're most likely have equity in their home. We know that they live there. So why would I spend all this extra money to get a list that's not targeted, that's not defined?
Right.
And if you don't export the list, then it doesn't cost you part of the 5,000. You can just instead grab a pen and paper and write it down. You can open up a little notepad and write their information that way. And then you're not even taking out of your list.
So if you were to export it, MLS would charge you?
No, they wouldn't charge you, but you have a limit. So you can't exceed.
Right. Okay.
And that's to prevent people from going in and doing mass targeting campaigns. You know, if someone was sending 10,000, right?
Right.
The people will want you to pay for that.
Yeah. And
Now,
you
the
said,
MLS doesn't charge you, but there's a cap.
and you did say with the smaller list, it's better to handwrite everything anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is how you farm in Realist.
Cool.
Any questions?
Did not know that. Has that always been there?
It has been there for a while, but most people didn't know it.
Okay.
There's also going to be a PDF document that I'm going to upload to the Champions website that's
Okay.
going to talk about farming inside Matrix, which a lot of people do know how to do. So that's why I didn't cover that one. I covered Realist instead.
Okay.
But it also provides step-by-step instructions on how to build that farm in Matrix.
Okay.
Miss Desiree, do you have any questions for me?
Is there a way for this report to be updated? I guess maybe you're saving it and then you go in and manually, because for example, 17, but maybe there are other homes in the area that begin to qualify. And so then you get an update or something like that.
So with this specific list that we just built, there wouldn't be an additional property that would be added. There would be properties that got subtracted, right? Because they'd be selling at that point. And we're looking at people who purchased prior to 2015. So that number is not going to change. It's not going to be increased. It's going to decrease as people purchase that property. Now, do I know if Realist will update your list in real time? I do not know that, unfortunately, and I apologize for that. But it's really easy to go in and check your lists. And monitor them. I mean, that took me a couple minutes just to input what the search was, and then it generated. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that sounds good. Right. Yeah. So then you're right. If somebody had sold and then you would stop potentially sending them your mailers because they've gone with somebody else or yeah. All right. Thanks.
And then one of the thing that I like the most about this farming with Realist is it ties so much hand in hand with direct mail marketing, right? We are sending a postcard that is very specific to a very specific client. And we are saying, hey, I'm Roxanne. Hey, I'm Desiree. I am your neighborhood real estate agent. I know about your neighborhood. I know everything there is to know. And I'm going to sell your home. And you're going to choose me because you know that I know that I'm the expert where you live, where you rent, Perhaps maybe you want to work with renters. Maybe perhaps you want to work with owners that want to sell their rental properties. Maybe you want to, you know, work with people who just sold their home a few years ago and you want to capitalize on all the growth the market has had in the last few years. Or maybe you want to target someone who's lived in their home for 20 years. Maybe you want to target someone that has a waterfront because you know you have a buyer who is looking for waterfront property. Now you have that list of who has it and you can go after them.
Also, if you've sold a home, like I just sold a home in Mount Lake Terrace, is this a way to farm all the neighbors and let them know what I've done?
So I'm never going to tell you what you have to do.
No, but I mean, I'm
Part of
just
this
thinking that
is,
one.
yes. You say, hey, I just sold a home in your neighborhood. Maybe it sold over ask, maybe it didn't, maybe it sold quick, maybe it didn't. But you can say, hey, I sold your neighbor's home. I know what's going on in your neighborhood. I know how to price your neighborhood. You should choose me versus all the other agents out there.
And I can tell them, once it's closed, I can tell them what it was listed for and what it sold for.
Mhm.
Okay,
Once it sells, it becomes public record.
right.
So at that point, you can disclose that information. Now,
Okay.
prior to that, you cannot. But you can say, hey, you know, I sold your home, I sold your neighbor's home, it went $100,000 over ask.
Yeah.
That's trending in your neighborhood. You've got a lot of equity in your home. You've owned it for 15 years. Let's sell.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know the name of their community. I know the addresses. Is there any way to like get an area around those addresses, around their address in the search?
So yes, you can do a map search. It's a little bit more complicated. I did a
Okay.
subdivision not specifically saying to target a subdivision because not everyone lives in a subdivision. But the
Right.
nice thing about a subdivision is it's so tight knit.
Yeah, this was just a neighborhood in Mount Lake Terrace, so
Yeah.
so that'd be trickier to pin down, but
then once you pin it down, you have all the information that you need.
right. That, I think, yeah, if I came into the office, that's something somebody could help me with.
Mhm.
Okay.
That is all though I have for the two of you ladies, unless you have more questions.
Nope, I think that was good. I did not know that this was available. So, yeah, so I guess thing be get some, I'll look at the postcards that they have, print them off, and I've sold a couple houses and one in Broadview, one in Mount Lake Terrace, so I'll send out some postcards.
And then I'll get back to you on that company for the QR code. I'll figure out what that is and I'll send you an email.
Yeah. Okay. And that's probably a service that you pay for. And it sounds like, it almost sounds like, yeah, it's just like a Zillow or Redfin estimate. So it's not actually correct. I mean, it could be off, but just to give them some information, I guess.
Right. And you're giving them a reason to call you. Right.
Right. So that you can
They're
narrow it
not really
down.
going to know what their home is worth until someone walks through that property.
Right. Okay, great.
Give them a real answer.
Good information.
Thank you.
Yay, I like it.
Thank you.
Are you in Edmonds or Everett today?
I'm in Edmonds today.
Okay.
So we will be having our next training class 2 weeks from today. I believe it will be on our lead generation website. I'm not 100% sure on that, but stay tuned and I will let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you so much. Chelsea, you're great.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Bye.
it. Bye-bye.
Bye.